Afternoon, everybody. Just making sure I'm coming through okay. Test. I think I am. Yep. Yeah. Hello. Hope everybody is well. Thank you for joining on this. I think it's part 5, is it? Part 5 of the 200k funded account. And let's talk a bit. I'll talk a bit about the markets in a bit, but also I've got quite something exciting that I've worked for the past 18 months for. 18 months, can you believe? Trying to set up a website that helps people learn how to trade the right way. So I don't know if people here are learning or new, but certainly for me in my journey, I found that it took me some time to find good, proper information. I think I was got caught in a few scams, a few believing the hype around trading in terms of, what was put out on social media, that I can make all this much money, etc. And once I did become a profitable trader a few years later, I set about to create something that not only would help people how to trade, but also kind of give back to the community of traders. So I'm doing this by giving away a 50 grand trading account challenge. So one of these FTMO challenges every single month to one of our members. And that was my way to kind of think, how am I supposed to, help other people get to where I am? And, one of the things is the lack of access to capital. And that's what I'm going to be doing every single month. One of our members are going to be winning a $50,000 trading account challenge, where you can get that capital to make a passive income. So I've worked very hard on it. There's been a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of delays. I mean, we started it just before COVID, but I put a lot of investment into it, and hopefully people will enjoy it. So it's a place, a kind of community where people can come and learn how to trade the right way, and hopefully get themselves into a position where they can potentially win a 50 grand funded account. So I'll put the link in the description if you want to go check it out. We do offer a 7-day free, no credit card, free trial. So you can come and have a look at the platform. The reason why I did that is because I know it's a great platform, and I didn't feel the need to try and companies put a credit card free trial and you forget it and you get charged, etc. So I didn't really want to do that. So yeah, links in the description, rt-forex.com. So very happy about that. Anyway, let's talk markets, because that's what we're here for. Yesterday was a bit strange. Yesterday was one of those days where even there's sometimes as a trader you think, I mean, what the hell's going on here? I don't really understand it. During London, I took this US 30 position on account of this breakout retest, Morningstar pattern, bit of volume coming into the engulfer. It took that long to reach potentially those highs, and everything was going well over London. And I do like the London session. I think sometimes I've noticed with the US session, it's a bit strange. I don't know if anyone else's trading is the same, but for example, this bar happened really 10 minutes after the open. And still, I've been trying to find a fundamental reason or whatever reason that this has happened, and I can't. I don't know if anybody can tell me. Inflation worries, maybe. The news that came out was decent. Parsa, how you doing, mate? Good to see you back. Hopefully you didn't take EJ, right? You're waiting for that retest. But I couldn't find any reason for this drop, to be honest with you. So, a great movement over London, and it looked as if that US 30 trade I had on was going to hit TP, but we kind of came off a little bit. However, we're still holding this level, this old resistance coming into new support. It's basically at where I bought it. Stops all the way down here. And I'm looking for this to hold and continue on upwards. Like, my bias with the index is long, and I don't see any reason. Although I am purely a technical trader, I was looking around thinking, why is that come down? But from a technical standpoint, I did say I didn't really like the indexes, and I haven't liked the indexes for some time. But this was a nice setup. So now it's a waiting game. The trade is in. And let's see if we end up going forward. So I'm here. I was at the end of the London session, I was about on 207, so 7 grand up. And then things kind of flipped around. The Swiss yen is the risk-free trade that's still going. Again, nothing is closed on that. So Swiss yen. Yeah, Swiss yen did well yesterday. It started motor on. Like I said, I'm still in it. I'll go into that in a minute. But Swiss yen was nice yesterday. EJ Long also got stopped, yeah. Yeah, I didn't get into EJ Long once. I wanted the retest. And that's one of the reasons why I like the retest on the... I don't take breakouts on the lower time frame charts because you're susceptible to those kind of fakes. And certainly in conditions like it is right now, I think you'll probably agree it's pretty shit market conditions in terms of trading wise. And there's times where I just don't feel the market. And then there's times where I'm kind of in the zone. And this week from Monday till now has been a bit of a market that is just, pretty shit, to be honest. I think we're waiting for NFP on Friday. I think that's what's happening. And then we get probably some direction from what those numbers come out as. As a trader, you probably want those numbers to be good. Flowing markets are nice. Bad numbers might again cause that uncertainty, and markets don't like uncertainty. So I'm back here with my US position. Whether that wins or loses, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, with these challenges, you do have to get a bit of luck, to be honest. So sometimes you have to say, just give me a good 30 days, just get my 10%, and then I'll move on to the next one. It might not happen. Again, the only thing that I go for is the free repeat. So US 30, I'm still in it. I'm still technically profitable in it, and unless this breaks underneath this level, I will continue to hold. Yeah, there's no trend. Yeah, it's. I mean, yeah, it's shit. To be honest with you, and I think it will be for the next until Friday afternoon, or Friday if you're in the US, it's Friday morning. But this Swiss yen, I started to curl up yesterday. Bit of a reaction here at this level, slight fake again. See, fake outs occurring, and that's one of those things in uncertainty and in choppy markets are a lot of these fake outs happen, which is exactly what we're getting on Swiss yen. Anyway, I'm still holding it. Potentially, if we come down here to continue up, I can move my stop up and capture some profit. But if we put a trend line on there like I have, it's if we look at the other edge of the coin, it could be potentially heading down for possibly a harder reset. Maybe something like this before continuing to the upside. Swiss yen is still, I consider a long, but I'm not as confident as I was about it in London yesterday. So Swiss yen. And I did have a lot of pound pairs, but again, as we've seen, a lot of the pound pairs are, pound took a wobble yesterday on a few of them, like this pound CAD. Was looking at a breakout, didn't come. I didn't take it. I didn't take it if the setup didn't come. Where's my pen not working? Technology, huh? There we go. Oh, sorry guys, my pen's decided to stop working. Oh. Technical problems. Give me 1 second. Basically with these pound pairs, nothing had set up, and I didn't take it. But we've got a lot of this over yesterday, and certainly over the US. So some of those pound pairs are off. But the 2 pounds that I do still like are pound Aussie. Pound Aussie is still quite nice. So on account of this larger, again, we can call this a big area of accumulation. Remember, accumulation, institutions potentially loading up on positions to move on. Distribution at the top, institutions distributing positions, and sometimes you see it go down like that. So we might be in this area of accumulation, but the setup is this larger. This is the daily chart, so larger cup with handle, and now I'm looking for a retest of this area, and I think it might come in terms of a complex corrective. Like possibly like this. God, my pen is not working today, excuse me. So possibly something like this we get. Let that 20 catch up for movement to the upside. So I quite like that. Pound Aussie I still like. It is the daily chart, remember, so something that might come at the end of the week. But that one's nice. And pound Swiss is still valid. But it needs to show me something now. It needs to show me what it's got. That's what I'm looking for pound Aussie, to take that break long. That day yesterday. If it had broken through these lows, I'd have to take that away and call it invalid. But it still is valid, but needs to show me a little bit more here to take that break long. So pound Swiss I still like. The euro, I was annoyed because euro, I missed this trade. Euro PLN. And again, I think it was over US, so I wasn't out the market. But this is quite a nice setup. Head and shoulders there. Look at this corrective here. Let that 20 catch up. Then we had 8 hours worth of price action underneath, or actually 12 hours of price action underneath that level. That accumulation, 20 period coming down, and a good strong break on volume. Your stop would have been up here. TP1, your TP1 would have been hit. Now that's just a very simple but powerful setup, right? We're on a downtrend. Head and shoulders, indicating that pullback is potentially complete. That's what head and shoulders is, a trend change pattern. And yeah, that's just simple, right? There's nothing complex or anything about that. Simplicity always works. And unfortunately, I missed it because I can't stare at the charts 24 hours a day. But there's a good example of quite a nice trade, which looks similar to the USD ZAR I'm in, not on this funded account, but on my actual account. So that Euro PLN, I was looking at it for a retest, but I think it's gone a bit too far now. But I mean, there you go. If you take a screenshot of that, nice little setup that is. Euro PLN. New Zealand yen is probably my favorite in the basket, and I've seen quite a few people talk about the New Zealand yen specifically on this daily chart. So I'm getting, as we talked about, you can look at it as a bigger head and shoulders, nice steady state trend into this level. Again, nice corrective, reload, making that trend healthy. Good bullish pressure through, nice. I mean, just looking at the candles, I mean, it's a nice strong break. And at the moment, what we're getting, this is why, I'm not worried about a little pullback in the yen, but this looks like a really nice steady state retest back to this level, where I need my catalyst. So if we get something like this, right, 20 catches up, bit of volume coming in, that for me is a trade to the upside every day of the week. That is a nice setup. And you might look at this and be a bit worried, but you have to remember that we're looking at the daily chart and the context is coming from quite some time ago. And you can see sometimes, I'm not saying this is going to go, it is part of trend continuation. And, sometimes these setups can be very, very powerful. So New Zealand yen to the upside, I do like, is probably my favorite on the basket. And finally, I was looking at the Aussie Swiss. Now, the Aussie Swiss is interesting. This is a counter trend trade, right? If you look at the longer term perspective, it's not counter trend because it is part of the trend. You're looking at a big impulse to the upside here and a nice large corrective coming from really February. It has broken out of these kind of swing highs. So again, it is counter trend, but what I'm seeing on this 4 hour is a potential head and shoulders here and a nice, this is quite nice if I zoom in, kind of volatility contraction. You don't go lower time frame. I mean, I do look at the lower time. On my breakouts, I trade from the 4 hour daily, right? And sometimes I will look at the 1 hour for added confluence. However, the main time frames I'll look at is the trading time frame for my setup. But sometimes I do, like with this Aussie Swiss, because it is counter trend, right? I will look at the lower time frames here. And if I get something quite nice, it might, again, just add confluence to that trading idea, because at the end of the day, this is counter trend. So we want to see things, want to see a really nice setup in order to take a counter trend trade, because you're going against, you're riding your bike against the wind, and you want to see some real pressure into that level for counter trend moves. However, with it being the Aussie Swiss and with stocks potentially pushing up, you'd expect that Aussie to gain some strength, right? And you'd expect the Swiss, being a risk-off currency, to maybe be a little bit weak. And so I kind of like that as well. And this is all right. This is nice. I like this contraction in. I'm okay with this fake out here. So my breakout would be roughly around this area. And now I'm looking at lower time frames here because I like where the 20 is. I like the setup. This is a nice hammer on volume. See rejection here, possible stops being taken out to the upside, maybe for counter trend traders, but certainly a large candle and a hammer candle at that. And I'm looking for this to move up to this area for a breakout long in terms of counter trend trade. Now these counter trends, more often than not, you might not get a lot out of it. Maybe you get 1-to-1 and it comes back and hits your stop. Sometimes you get a little bit more, but on those times where you catch into that counter trend move, which is why I like it, because not just taking this out of respect, taking it account from here, if you're getting into the area where that potential corrective from this move is over, you could get a really nice trade out of it. But there's a lot of resistance to that upside because you've got that 20, you've got that resistance area, etc. However, I like that setup, to be honest. I like it. Aussie Swiss. So what I'm looking at is, now I am looking at lower time frames, Parsa. I'm looking at lower time frames now. And it's maybe something that might be setting up US session, because this needs to get up to this level, which I think will take certainly a few hours. I mean, it's 1 o'clock now. It may be something for tomorrow. I think maybe something for tomorrow morning. But I would take that if it sets up nicely, the Aussie Swiss. I think really that's Pound Swiss. CAD Swiss was another, but CAD Swiss is again kind of faked out. But it's coming back. So this is okay on account of this larger V reversal. Had its fake out and now potentially coming back for a reload. What I would like to see is, again, that accumulation. Similar to we saw on that European trade. That little bit of accumulation, that little reload, because I don't want to be taking trades that go like this, because those are susceptible to fake outs. Right? You get climactic moves into levels, they're often susceptible to a snapback, and we don't want to be part of that 70% of faked or fake outs. We want to be part of the 30% of real breakouts, and just adding that in, just that simple price action in, possibly lowering volume as well during this accumulation phase and taking that break. Ideally the break comes on high volume, a good bullish engulfer. That's what I like to see. And just using simple techniques. A lot of people might put indicators upon indicators and oscillators on their charts. Just read price action and read what price action is telling you. So, this currency pair here is faked out, tried to push down, the market's come back and give us another V reversal, a reload to make that push up, because at the end of the day, that's 4, 8, 12, 16 hours of bullish price action. Just to give the buyers a little break, a reload, make that trend healthy before pushing up. CAD Swiss, CAD's been strong, right? CAD's been probably the strongest in the basket over the course of the last month. Stocks push, you'd expect those commodity currencies, which the CAD is, to push on. You'd expect the Swiss to become weak, you expect the yen to become weak, you expect the dollar to become weak. So stacking the odds in your favor and buying those commodity currencies against the risk-off currencies makes sense. And if the numbers coming out on NFP on Friday are good, yeah, you could potentially see some decent moves, certainly against the yen. I'd say Aussie yen, Kiwi yen, like we've seen on that chart, CAD yen, CAD Swiss, that kind of currency pairs, for good numbers you could see push on. But it depends on the numbers on Friday. And my kind of personal opinion is these markets right now are something you need to just realize are difficult to trade. And before, when I was trading these types of markets, I'd lose a lot more money, right? Because I was probably trying to force things, getting caught in fakes, not realizing when market conditions are ripe for trading and when to take a step back. So even though during these periods of uncertainty, I'd lose a few trades, and then when the markets are flowing, I'd basically just be getting my money back, right? Whereas if I hadn't taken 2-3 trades during these times, I would have been profitable. So I think there's a very small difference between, let's say, unprofitable traders to break-even traders. And then again, there's a small difference. It might be 2 or 3 trades a month between break-even traders and profitable traders. right? Then again, there might be a 1 trade difference or 2 trade difference between profitable traders and great traders. And it's just recognizing when to be in and out of the market. It's a long-term game. So let's see. Yeah, Paul, I mean, I was the same. I think probably because I love to trade. You know, I love the feeling of being in the market, but the feeling of losing money I did not enjoy. And when you wait and you eventually get to those 2-3 trades that just go and make you profit, you'll be like, oh God, thank God I didn't trade during that horrible market, and now I'm reaping the rewards because I think it was last month, I think maybe start of May, where I didn't trade for, I think it was 10 days, and I took 2 trades and both of them went off and got me like 4 or 5%. And I'm thinking, you know what, it was boring, but I've just hit my target in 2 days. And that's trading. You could be sitting around for 6 days and make your money in 1. It depends on what you do in that 6 days that will probably end up defining your month. But if you are a new trader, you're just learning, so it takes some time to realize that. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching. If you got any other questions, let me know now. This is my 3rd stream of the day, so I'm going for my lunch. But if you have any questions or anything you want me to look at, then I'll do it now. I see my profit going up a little bit. I don't know if something's moving. Very slightly. This is moving. I don't know if the Swiss yen is moving. No, not really. Anyway. No. All right. Well, thank you. This is the most viewers I've had on a stream with my fifth stream ever. So hopefully, you get some value out of it, and hopefully see some of you tomorrow, Friday, where I'm going to try and do this every single day, and just see what we do with the 200, and hopefully we pass it. So thanks everyone. Thanks for coming, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks Paul, thanks Parsa, thanks for getting involved. Trade safe, huh? Don't lose your money, trade safe.